today we have episode 6 of Comic Conversations, where I interview another comic book YouTuber. I'm trying to be all professional. I have my microphone here and everything. And just a quick little housekeeping before we start. There will be no claim sales until another claim sale for the rest of this year until next year. So I got to regroup for the selling. I have to get some more inventory to sell because the stuff I've got right now, it's not for sale. So, but without any further ado, I'd like to bring on my guest for today. He's my friend from North Beyond the Wall. He's not a White Walker. He's not a White Walker, but he's from the great White North. And it is Chris, the comic vet. Welcome in, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Was that a pretty good? I don't know. I tried to do a good intro for everybody, and
it was a lot bad. My only question is, why am I 6 and not like 3 or 2? Like
that's just the order when I asked it. I don't know. It's after I started to fill them up, Yeah. Well, you're number 1 in our hearts.
All right, I'll take that.
Okay.
Right.
And we got Cliff who's commenting. He said, "Sadly, I'll catch the rewind, but have fun, guys." Yeah, he's with the Council of Comics right now. Dr. Von Hoot. Evening all. Evening to you, sir, from across the pond, as we'd say. We got Comic Cap Collectibles in the house. What's up?
Hello, Rich.
I like this guy. He likes Captain America like me and you do. So, And then we got Random Rips, Kevin, who's, he's a man about town on YouTube. He's always sitting in on everything. We got Flat Earth Santa, another friend from beyond north of the wall.
Oh.
Flat Earth Santa says, "Hide the women in the beer. I'm here."
That's pretty good.
All right. I got it put up somewhere. I don't know where the women are at. They usually don't go around me because they don't like comic books, but And then we got Chris wants to be number 2.
I did say 3 first.
And there's Carlito. What's up, buddy?
Brother of the Leaf.
All right. Well, we'll just start out like this, and I kind of stole this, I guess, from you and Rob's show, Only Slabs. What is your comic book origin story like?
Oh,
what got you into reading and collecting comics? What interests you?
Matt, let's be honest. It all kind of goes back to just cartoons. Like that, my introduction to comic book characters was through cartoons, and seeing the first Superman movie in 77 or 78 and being 3 or 4 years old, and my mind just being blown by that, and then watching the classic 60s Spider-Man on rerun, and then the old Adam West Batman stuff. And then once my parents pushed the joy of reading into my life, I was reading Archie books and a lot of those Kitty Harvey type of characters,
Little Devil and stuff like that.
Yep. Richie Rich is the one, and Casper the Friendly Ghost. I read a lot of that stuff, and the Archie digests were ones that were readily accessible to me, where I lived and where I grew up. And then from there, it just kind of expanded into Marvel and DC. And once I realized that not all these books were self-contained, I kind of dropped the Archie and those Harvey character books and Heathcliff and a lot of those Star comics I was reading as a very young kid. And both my parents were kind enough to play into it. Like, if my mom went out for a pack of smokes, she would grab me a book. And if my dad went out to the corner store to pick up some pop or something, he would come home with a couple books. My dad would pick up books that he was familiar with. Yeah.
They always had them at the grocery store too. Like when you're ready to check out.
So the convenience store, variety store, like the mom and pop 7-Eleven stores that were up in Toronto where I grew up. If they swang by on their way home, they would pick up a book because it'd only be 35 cents or 50 cents, right? And it's through there where I fell in love with the Amazing Spider-Man. And from there, it just opened everything up.
I was like that too. Like if I went to the grocery store with my mom, I was probably getting a comic book. My dad was in the National Guard for 20 years. He was also in the Marine Corps. He was a Vietnam veteran.
Wonderful.
But when he got back, he did 20 years in the National Guard. And as you know, the National Guard in the summer, they do maneuvers for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A different base somewhere in the United States, somewhere sometimes abroad, Canada, Scotland. And he would go to the PX and bring back a bunch of comics. Like I'd have G.I. Joe, the Fighting Marines, the Charlton stuff, like Sergeant Rock, even the hot stuff and stuff like that, Richie Rich. And I was hooked. And then G.I. Joe, but also it was the cartoons first, like G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, the cartoon.
That was the gateway.
And I didn't know at the time, but you got like Mike Zeck and Herb Trimpe and Larry Hama doing the writing, and it blew my mind. But that kind of segues to the next question. What was the first comic book that you went to the corner store or the comic shop and you had your own money from chores or whatever, allowance or your part-time job after school, and you saw it, you're like, I'm buying that with my own money? I can tell you mine. It's Amazing Spider-Man 322.
Okay. And Amazing Spider-Man 274. The reason why I picked up that book is obviously because I was in love with the Amazing Spider-Man. That's the book I bought with my own money for the first time. Awesome. It was 274. I can remember the cover features a Secret Wars 2 crossover, and it was 32 pages, no ads. It billed itself as no ads whatsoever. It was a wraparound cover with the Beyonder and some floating heads with Spider-Man in peril on his knees in agony, and on the back was Mephisto and a much larger picture of the Beyonder. And and from there, I never missed another issue.
I don't blame you. It was pretty awesome. I love that time period. Like I went back and got some of those, or trade with my cousin. I would get like my old Mega Man games or something, or that I didn't play anymore, already beat, and I would trade him comics. I used to get like Punisher comics from him, and I think he got the worst end of the deal because I got a Punisher #1 for Mega Man 3. So I think he got the worst part of the deal. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't in the. I mean, now if it was in the box, maybe. But I digress. This is not about me. I don't want to. I have to stop myself to make the show about me because it's not about me. We're trying to talk about you. So, what are some of the things that? This is kind of a hard question. I think it is because I couldn't answer it quickly. So, and you feel free to expand on it. What do you love about comics, or what are some of the things that you love? Not just one thing in specific.
For those that are wondering. I'm sharing this stream from Matt's channel onto my own, just to help grow Matt's channel. So if you're watching this from my channel, please make sure that you visit Matt's channel and give him a subscription. Heroes for Hire Comic Club on YouTube.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate
it. There's a few things. America has shared with the world that is beautiful. Comic books, jazz are just a couple of those things. And it is the great American medium. I make no bones about it. Comic books and their creativity is such a great American pastime that was shared with the entire planet that wasn't selfish. It's just something that's recognized around the globe. For those of us that are not American, we realize that this is an American medium, and that's why you have the term Canadian variant, UK variant, Australian variant, because it is what it is. It is hip hop in Greece too. Yeah, and don't forget Electric Boogaloo. Okay, if we're gonna go there, we're gonna talk about Breakin' too.
Well, don't forget Enter the Ninja. Ninja 3, The Domination.
Well, but that's via Japan. This is purely American.
Okay, then I'll say Missing in Action.
Okay, right. Braddock. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Braddock. Comic books have always been a part of my life. They were a part of my life very, very young because my father was a reader. Mm-hmm. It was a part of my life when I discovered reading. It was a part of my life through my teen years. But it helped me grow my friendship base in school. And for those that read comic books, you weren't really part of the cool kids club. And comic books helped those that weren't a part of the cool kids club to become a cool club because you could always trade books. Back then, it wasn't about value. It was about, oh, have you read the first issue of Wolverine now that he has his ongoing monthly? Man, it looks like we may get the Gray Hulk. So, Joe Fixit. So I can remember that kind of thing happening. And then you discover girls and you go away from comics.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, for me, in my mid-20s, when my own son was born, comics came back. But the medium came back through movies starting to become a little bit more popular. Blade was being released around this time, and it was well received.
Yeah.
And having a little bit of background knowledge into some of these characters, I could enjoy the movies even more. And then when the MCU first started up, I kind of thought, well, what's going on here? Why are we focusing around like a B or C character in Iron Man?
Yeah.
Then you quickly find out, oh, it's because Marvel Studios is doing this. They don't have the rights to certain characters because of tougher times previously, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I see. Well, there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Maybe I need to educate myself. And how do you educate yourself? You go back and you find the great American medium, comic books, and you read them. And from there, from in and around the beginning of the MCU, I was back full-fledged, visiting my comic shop every Wednesday.
Yeah,
and that's what comic books mean to me. They've just been a part of my life, whether they were on the front burner, the back burner, or kind of off in the distance. They were always there.
Merry Christmas. That's my cousin. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we got a Flat Earth wanted to tell you something. He said, it's good to see another knucklehead on comic screen. All right. Wait, they're out there. We have a lot of guys from the Great White North that come, they're comic fans, which is awesome. That's what I love. I'll go into another question I have, but you were talking about the movies.
Mm-hmm.
When we were growing up, we're close to the same age.
Mm-hmm.
I never imagined I would see a movie like The Avengers because I didn't think it was possible to make a movie like that because we'd had the Captain America in the 90s and, they failed attempt to make a Fantastic Four movie. And when I saw like all the Avengers, when they're in that shot where they give them the pan, they pan around and they're all in a circle ready to fight all the aliens. And it gave me goosebumps. I was like, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this in a film,
It was a wow moment. Yeah.
And because it was slim pickings in the 90s until Blade and all that came out, we had stuff like The Shadow or The Phantom, which I don't know. People sleep on that movie, The Phantom, but it's actually pretty good.
I enjoyed Billy Zane's portrayal.
Yep. Let's see. We got X-Men comics intermittently in college. Yep. I got hit real hard, though. Somebody broke into my apartment and stole a bunch of my stuff, and it kind of drove me out for a few years. You know what I mean? I just threw my hands up and gave up. But I'm back now, baby. Okay. Well, that kind of goes into this. Kind of what I was saying about, like, when he was saying another fellow Canuck on here. That's one thing I like about YouTube is that I know people from Australia and Canada now that I didn't know before, and I think it's great. And they all have this love of comics. And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to start a YouTube channel was because I didn't have any friends locally that really like comic books, and I get to know all these people. So that kind of intersects into my next question. Why did you decide to start a YouTube channel about comic books?
Before I answer that, can you highlight DVH's last comment?
Yes, I can.
This is factual. This is the truth.
Yes.
This is the truth.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point. The great movie.
This is the truth. I had that movie poster in my bedroom. My better half pushed me towards YouTube. I guess it's almost over 3.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always push me in the direction. She's like, well, you should start a podcast. People are interested to hear what you have to say because you've been reading comic books since you were a kid. You could just make it about comic books. I'm like, no one would care at the time about an out of shape, balding 40-year-old Canadian talking about comic books. Nobody would. She's like, try it. And then she introduced me to mystery boxes on YouTube, and I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Like, people pay money to open up a box of comic books that they don't know what they're going to get.
Yeah. It fascinated me too when I first discovered it.
And I really had to wrap my mind around it. And then we would watch numerous videos back to back about just different retailers, because at the time retailers were really into it, like comic shops themselves. And so together we rolled the dice and picked up a few. And then she said, well, you should start a YouTube channel and you could do this. Look how easy it is. Just you have a phone, upload it. And if you talk about the books as you're opening them, people are going to be interested. And I said, no. Nobody wants to hear what a balding 40-year-old out of shape Canadian has to say. And then I decided to try it. And like almost everybody, I had the camera turned away from me and I did an unboxing, and I did it a couple times. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to turn the camera around, talk about the books I'm getting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the books I'm picking up for New Comic Book Day. And I'm going to just do it in my car, because my car has great audio. It's no echo whatsoever. And the acoustics are tremendous. So I did. And slowly over time, it got a little bit bigger and it got a little bit bigger. And then I got noticed by a couple of larger channels that would invite me to come on their live streams. And I would always say no. No, I'm not into it. This is a lot for me to do. And yeah. And what I realized is someone that has no fear of public speaking. I can speak in front of a large group of people. I do it every day at work. And I can even just kind of go unscripted in front of a large group of people. I've done it.
I've never had a problem with that either.
Yeah, I've done it in churches. I've done it in auditoriums. Not a problem. But with YouTube, it's different. I don't know why, but going on live streams was challenging. And
same.
I got invited onto a channel that doesn't participate that much anymore in comics. And then I got a second invitation. I shouldn't say I probably got a fifth or sixth invitation, but my second step was on to Legion of Comics. He was starting up a Sunday night show that he was hoping to get some traction with, called At Week's End, where we'd be invited on and you would talk about the comics that you read, judge them, grade them, do whatever you want. And Mark was beautiful in his simplicity, that say whatever you want, just please don't swear, because this might be shown inside of his LCS. And I have a lot of respect for that. If his LCS was helping promote his channel, it was a brilliant thing. And I went on for the first time, and I had a warm reception inside the chat. His father, who is active in his chat, was kind to me, agreed with me on a lot of things. And I went back for a second week and a third, and then I was just a part of that show for a very long time. And for a while, it was just the three of us. And we all came from different places. I would basically be the Marvel fan. Mark was the DC fan. And Ryan, who doesn't really participate in YouTube that much anymore, he would come from a place of independent comics. So we really gelled. And it was a whole lot of fun. That was great for me, because in my YouTube journey, Mark was always 5 or 6 steps with his channel further than what I was. Mm-hmm. So I could easily then just step in his steps afterwards and follow him and follow his lead. And from there, my channel became based off live streams. 50% live streams. The other 50% would be videos, whether it was unboxing, talking about books that were coming up. And then Wednesdays, I went from being live by myself inside my car to having a regular Wednesday night live stream where it's an open invitation to everyone in the comic book community. Basically, first 10 to join me, get on and show the books that they picked up for New Comic Book Day, or in the last year, the books that they picked up recently that they're proud to have in their PC.
Yeah.
And it's from there that everything's just kind of grown away from my own channel, where I've got to develop friendships and relationships with other people on YouTube. And also because of the mentorship that Mark provided with me and other channels like Taylor Winder, that I then got to provide that to newer channels and channels that were about to monetize. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. And mentor some of those people as they were going through their own journeys. Like, oh, I've been stuck at 400 subs. Well, you may want to consider this. I'm approaching 1,000. What do you think I should do? You may want to consider this. And many people were there to offer me support when I made that jump from 900 to 1,000 and then into monetizing. So I always try to offer some sort of help or mentorship to those that are getting close to that part of their journey, or if channels feel like they're stuck at a certain number and don't know what to do.
Well,
And
you got me like that too. I was I didn't mean to cut you off, but I remember when I first got started in this, I was afraid to even talk in the chat to people. And I remember I saw my friend, I just brought up on the screen there, Psychotropic Squirt Gun, and they were doing the show. And they had like these books. This is how I got started. Got the idea to do it. And that's a cheap comic collector. That guy, I sold him comics on Whatnot. So I typed in there. I said, I think you bought those from me on Whatnot. And he said, here, I'll show you the rest of them. And I was like, hey, Mom, my books are on TV. Then when I started getting into, I got on your show that one time, but then you gave me advice, like you told me to make thumbnails. And then when I had the one thumbnail, it was like Arlie Ermery, but it had the History Channel logo on the bottom. He said, you might want to take that off there.
That's right.
And I, you know what? I didn't even see it. You're right. So I cleaned that up. And, but yeah, so you kind of pay it forward. And then, cause I was building only slabs in the chat, and I went under a different name, and I won one day, and I started getting into talking on there. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I just,
no. And but that's the thing, that this community is very kind, very gracious, and most importantly is very welcoming. And Dill's one of those dudes too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like every channel has a milestone number they're gunning towards, and sometimes they need some advice. And I was there for a long time. It felt like forever to get to 500.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Mark from Legion of Comics was one of those that was always offering advice, because he was always at 4 or 5 steps ahead of me. Oh, thank you, Tony. Tony is a wonderful man. Is a wonderful man. I hope 2025 is his year. He's a good dude. So I had a lot of these strong channels ahead of me: Small Town Collectibles, DJ Links, and Rob himself, Rob's Fat Texas Comics, were always those few steps ahead of me. So I could navigate that way and mirror and make it my own, what they did to get to certain numbers and certain milestones. So when I see smaller channels or channels that are kind of doing what I did when I first started, or at certain points, I reach out to them to just say, hey, you probably don't know me, but I know your channel. I see what you're doing. I'm liking a lot. If you got any questions, let me know. I've been in this for a few years now. And everyone that I reach out to is always responsive and like asking questions. And that's the one thing I hope that everyone, it doesn't matter your channel number, it matters how long you've been doing it, and offer advice and how things and offer successes, but more importantly, offer the failures that you did, so that people like that don't have to go through the stumbles that you did. And you don't want to put the History Channel's logo on thumbnails, because your country loves to sue people. So you may want
Very
to
litigious.
you
Yes.
may want to take it easy, borrowing that kind of thing. But no, to summarize it all, it's the relationships that's come through YouTube that's the best part of this community.
Absolutely.
Like, and like it's just a wonderful thing. It being able to shake people's hands that you've watched or watched their channels forever, and vice versa, and just have chats with people here and there. It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
I give you a funny anecdote. The first episode of this, I interviewed Mike from Lunch Buddy Comics.
Yeah.
And see, I watch my YouTube videos when I'm watching them just by myself and I'm not on stream. I watch them on my TV, so it's almost like I'm watching a TV personality. And I was like, I feel like Chris Farley interviewing Paul McCartney. It's like, you remember that time when you were in the Beatles? That was awesome, man. And so I had to like kind of slow down on that. And we got Dale's want to say something here. There you go, Steve. And that's what it's all about. And see, you know what? That's all about this community. Like you were just saying, is like it gave me the courage to just go ahead and reserve a room for Heroes Con, because I want to meet some of these lovely people,
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed like the place to be. Everybody was talking about it, and I heard, Rob said, well, we have the get together down there. I said, well, I will be there. I'll be sure to be there. And I was like, but then I was kind of nervous because I have muscular dystrophy, and like I can walk still, but like if I'm going to be a long distance, I have to have my wheelchair.
Yep.
And I was, but everybody was like, no, don't worry about it. Everybody will be there. Somebody will help you out if you need help. It's not a problem. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going then. And that's what's great about this community. They kind of lift people up. I know there's a lot of talk sometimes about the negativity that goes on YouTube, but I'm just glad to think that I'm glad to say, and I'm proud to say that the people that I've associated with here are not like that. We try to welcome everybody in. And I think that the way they treated you is the way you treated other people that were, you know what I mean, going on. It's like like we said, pay it forward. I don't know.
I try.
Yeah.
Look, I'm no angel.
I'm not saying that.
I'm a very,
we know that now. Just pump the brakes a little bit.
And I'm quick to explode, and I've snapped a couple times on YouTube, but it's but hey, the thing is about the stuff that's not what you're witnessing right now. I find most of it is just for comedic purposes. And everything it has its place. And if you participate in that kind of thing, God bless you. I don't.
It's like WWE.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not for me, but it's not something I can't say I don't appreciate, or at times I don't find funny, as long as it's not personal and it's it's for comedic purposes. God bless them. Like, everyone tackles it in different ways, but at its foundation is the love of the American medium, comic books. Exactly. And that's the part that I appreciate the most.
And we don't have to like the same books. We don't have to like the same artists.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. I mean, because sometimes you get a lot of pushback. Like somebody says about Frank Miller, and I'm like, and I like what Cliff on Comics said, you shouldn't have to apologize for being a fan of Frank Miller. No. Regardless of anything, or anybody, Peach Momoko, anybody that's like, maybe it's polarizing to some people, but that kind of leads into this next question. Who are some of your favorite comic book creators and like artists and writers?
Okay. That's a good question. I usually go through the cycle of artists, but let's talk about my favorite writers. I have to start with Stan Lee, because it is what it is.
Stan the man.
If it wasn't for Stan Lee, all the characters that are around us right now, outside of Captain America, probably wouldn't be shown, or the majority of them.
Yep.
But right now, who are the couple? Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly. They did the last volume of Captain America. They also did the latest volume of Guardians of the Galaxy. Those two men do a great job, in my opinion. Cody Ziegler, up and coming writer, has done a great job. One of my all-time favorite writers is J.M. DeMatteis. He handled the death of Kraven. That was great. Jeff Lemire is another one of my absolute favorite writers. Rom V did a fabulous run on Detective Comics. The Miranda brothers, they did most recently We Live on in the Independence. I have to recognize Chris Claremont because Claremont put Wolverine on the map, and Wolverine is my favorite anti-hero. And shout out to Son of Crom, who's hosting a favorite comic YouTuber competition right now, and he's down to his final 4, and it's a wonderful thing that he's doing. So please, everyone, if you're not subscribed to Son of Crom as well, it's a up and coming new channel. Throw him a sub.
Can drop the link in the chat.
Yep, he's doing great stuff outside of this tournament, and so everyone make sure that you give Son of Crom an opportunity, or at least add it to your subscriptions here on YouTube. James Tynan IV is, I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't talk about him, and for what he's done in my life with Something Is Killing the Children, and we'll get into it a little bit because I know you're going to ask me a question about that. But I have to respect John Byrne as a writer. His Fantastic Four and his Thing run in the 80s are excellent. I kind of feel like it's almost overshadowed. Yeah, his Thing run when Ben left the Fantastic Four and She-Hulk moved in, and he was John Byrne for a while there was almost carrying Marvel Comics, in my opinion, by himself, with handling so many different things. And but yeah, I feel like there's a few I'm missing. Tom King, right now, I'm enjoying a lot of his work. And but the last one I'll close with here is Scotty Young. I know Scotty Young does a lot of artwork and the baby style chibi, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Scotty Young as a writer is so much better. The Me You Love in the Dark, Strange Academy.
I don't know how I had it on demand, but I was reading it. So
this was fantastic. Another strong female lead that wasn't sexualized. Just a great thriller type of book. Great series. And most recently, Ain't No Grave. Again, I've said to Scotty Young to his face, I'm like, I enjoy your writing more than your artwork. And that's not to insult your artwork. I wish you would write monthly. And that's how I followed up. I really wish that Scotty Young was writing monthly again. It's almost a shame that we don't get a monthly Scotty Young book.
Yeah.
And also Al Ewing. That's what I was pulling for. Al Ewing is doing a fantastic job. His Immortal Hulk run is legendary at this point. And his Immortal Thor is very good as well. Ray, good to see you, my man. Ray's a good guy. Great.
Yeah,
again, for comedic purposes, Ray's doing a great job.
He's awesome. I love him. And you know what I told him? I told him the other day, I was on a stream with him on his stream, and I said, "You just do you. Don't worry about what everybody else says. Just do you." You know what I mean? And but I agree with a lot of those writers you just said, like James.
Just to touch on Ray on one more thing.
Okay.
Ray has done something that I wanted to do in my first year, and I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing this for a few years now. Ray has managed to create a live stream to mix comic books and NFL football.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch, he's got it figured out, man. Like, and the thing is, every time he goes live, the Bills are always playing. So I can't, when the Bills are playing, it's my undivided attention. So I try to pop in, or if I know that he's about to go live, I'll try to drop a comment. But it's just been one of those moments where I try to pop in to Ray's stuff, but the Bills are damn playing because the NFL moves their schedule around. But yeah, Ray's got it figured out, man. That whole, especially if you're into sports and stuff, not everyone on comic book YouTube is into sports, but Ray's got it figured out, man. He's got that Sunday block nicely locked up. And that's what you want to see for smaller channels to help grow. Live streams are how you build an audience.
And that's
because they
why I
get to
do this
see
show.
you live off the cuff, right? Yeah.
And that's the one reason. Also, I want to get to know some of the people I've met a little bit better. And also, I do it live because I think you get more views live. I don't know why. Even if they watch on the replay, I've got more views with live stuff than I do with my unboxing stuff. So
That'll change.
yeah, it's like you got to build it up. We got a question from Flat Earth Santa here. 2 questions for Chris. Are you heading to the comics only show on the 27th? And what's your favorite LCS?
Which comic show on the 27th? There's a few of them. Are you talking the Mississauga one or the Toronto one that's at Monte Casino? And my favorite LCS, well, the T Dot. All right. If we're going to talk Toronto itself, it's Silver Snail. If we're going to talk to GTA, it's Gotham Central. Gotham Central, just outside of Toronto, Mississauga by the airport there. That's a terrific shop. Silver Snail, downtown Toronto. That place is historic. I've been going there since I was a child. Back in the very early 1980s when that first opened up in its original spot in Queen. But my LCS is outside of that, all of that, and it's Retro Rocket Comics in Cambridge, Ontario. The Monte Casino one, the 27th, I might. I do enjoy filming a lot of those shops. And Jay, everyone, I'm not hijacking your show, but
go ahead, Chris. It's fine.
Jay is a blessing that this man is now still on our planet. So with us, Jay had some complications earlier this week while at a movie theater. So Jay, my man, I hope that you're on the mend. I hope that you're feeling a lot better. I know that your wife is probably under some stress because of what happened with you and your health. I'm not going to get into it. But Jay, my man, I've been thinking about you ever since. My better half has been thinking about you ever since as well. So Jay, God bless you, my man. I'm looking forward to the day where I get to see you again, shake your hand one more time, and get some books off of you so I can get them away on my channel for free. Because I'm a cheap bastard that way. But Jay, God bless you, my man. I hope that you're feeling so much better. Yeah, man.
Is it Silver Snail? What?
No, in Toronto, GTA, I would say, is Gotham Central. Yeah.
Okay.
Now
I know where to go if I ever go to Toronto.
Yes.
I do have some family that lives in northern Michigan, so you never know. One day I might make it up there.
I love Michigan.
It's they live not far from is it Mackinac Island?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
I hope to go visit them one day. They go there on vacation at the end of when autumn's ending, right before it starts getting real cold.
You could skip the rocks across the Great Lakes and land it in Toronto or land it in Canada, no problem.
He says, "Okay, we got another." He said, "Well, if you head to Monte, I will be there."
Well, if you see me, stop and shake my hand. I'll be the tall guy that's kind of out of shape, walking around with his phone in his hand.
And it's just one of my great friends. He just started his channel, and everybody drop his link in the chat. He just dropped his first video today, and you got to love the name.
Flat Earth Santa.
It's just because when Santa Claus makes the world flat, I think it's something about the earth is flat when Santa Claus delivers his present so he can get everywhere fast. So, or something like that. I love the name, though. I met him on Whatnot, and now we're good friends.
Awesome.
We got another Ian and Becca.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
A lot of love today for you. It's a great community, and also I'd also like to give an invitation to Ian and Becca, and we call it the YT Friends. We made our own Discord page. So if you would like to join, let me know. I'll send you a link to it.
I'm not on Discord.
Okay, well, it's fine.
Yet.
They talk me into it.
If she gives me the okay, I'll check it out.
Okay. So what are the writers and some of the artists? I know some of your favorite artists anyway, like Jenny Prison for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
quickly, it's McFarlane, Byrne, Arthur Adams, Jenny Frison, Nakayama of late, but we'll be here forever because
I know.
Even JR back in the day doing ASM, I loved it. And Frank Miller has his place as well. I think Frank Miller is a better writer than he is an artist, but that's just me.
Yeah, he is. Everybody can agree to that. Yeah, if I started naming them all off, I'd go from George Perez to Mike Zeck, and
can't argue it.
Everybody in between his old work, Cockrum, You know,
God
all those
bless
guys.
Dave Cockrum, man. Cockrum put the X-Men on the map, as far as I'm concerned, or the X-Men
Absolutely.
with. Yep.
He said you have to choose one. We can't choose just one. There's just no way.
Well, his question is further back.
Oh, okay. Quick. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see. I was looking down.
Now, Razor, look at me, Razor. You're a son of a bitch for trying to make me pick just one. Not cool. Not cool. My favorite storyline, my favorite comic book storyline to read right now, today, hands down, is Something is Killing the Children.
I just now got into it. I've been reading it digitally. And
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Something is Killing the Children. Yep. It's the whole idea of having a female lead character that's not sexualized, that's just a pure badass and is breaking away from the
independent, which is tough. Yeah.
And the fact what she's doing is for the greater good and putting her own life on the line. It's solid storytelling with a different style of art, that's for sure.
And I love the way it's wrote. Like the first issue, she's in the woods fighting this monster. We don't see the monster. And she comes back and the little girl's in her little wagon or whatever, right? And she's like got blood on her. She just sits down and goes, "Here, you got any water? Can I use your shower?" I just thought that was so cool.
Erica Slaughter is a great character, but Razor, Beneath the Trees. Okay, Beneath the Trees is just a limited series. So my favorite comic book storyline, which I interpret your question as just ongoing, is Something is Killing the Children. But is Something is Killing the Children better than Beneath the Trees? Yes.
There you go. I know I missed out on the Beneath the Trees. I'm about to get the trade, I think.
The thing is, but Something's Killing the Children is very expensive to get into at this point if you just want issues, unless you're buying the trades.
I'm just going to get the trades. I've been reading it digitally just to save money, you know. Because I kind of have a place I can read them for. Never mind. I don't want to get in trouble. All right. So, okay, here's another good question. I think I know the answer to a few of these because, I mean, you kind of have similar interests like with Wolverine and Captain America. But what are some of your favorite comic book characters?
This guy.
Spidey, of course. Yeah.
Spider-Man. The first was Superman. Superman will always have a very special place in my heart. Always.
Same here.
A lot of people call him Clark Kent. I always just refer to him as Kal-El. It's, to me, I get it. But Spider-Man, Superman, the moderns, Erica Slaughter comes to mind. Thank you. It's Miles. And there was a while, Matt, I resisted Miles. Like I really resisted the idea of, oh great, another clone or another knockoff. Here we go, another cash grab. But god damn it, Miles Morales is fantastic. Is such a fun character, And it helps when you have good artwork and great writers on his story, and the fact that he's still just such a young kid, and you know he's got a younger sister, and his mom is his whole world. You know, you can appreciate that kind of thing, and if you can draw parallels to it as yourself as a person or a part of your past, that makes comic book reading and characters so much more fun. On top of that, Swamp Thing really means a lot to me. Swamp Thing was always a character in and out of my life, even though if I was into comics or not. I always felt like as a character, Swamp Thing never got his due when it came to overall enjoyment by most comic book readers. And Hollywood really dropped the ball recently with Swamp Thing. And if you enjoy those out of the norm comic book characters that do so much for their own world and have such of the best writers handling them, like Alan Moore, it almost hurts not to see them get their just due. So that's why, like, Swamp Thing is definitely top 10 for me. And but then it comes back to Wolverine. Like, it's Spider-Man and Wolverine, when it comes to Marvel, are probably 1-2 as lifelong favorite characters. And I'm not saying that because Wolverine's Canadian. I'm just saying because Wolverine is just a badass.
Oh yes,
And Claremont and Byrne, Claremont and Cockrum,
Frank Miller.
Claremont and Silvestri, they kept Wolverine as just a badass.
Yeah, and
And
one great thing that Frank Miller contributed was I read interviews with Chris Claremont talking about how they shared a car from the San Diego Comic Con in the '80s, and he said, "Do you want to? They want me to do a Wolverine miniseries. Would you do the help me do it?" He's like, "Well, he says I don't think he's an interesting character. He's just one sided. He's violent. That's all. I don't really want to draw that." And he's like, "Well, what do you got? What can we do to make it more interesting?" He said, "We'll make him like a Ronin, like a rogue samurai."
send them to
And
Japan. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it said it in Japan, and it was like they were off to the races.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Wolverine is you can see his story arc, his trajectory. He grows as a character where he doesn't give a crap about the other X-Men. He doesn't even want to be there really, and he's very standoffish. And then it starts to change at first when when they're at the Hellfire Club, and he has to fight his way in to save them. And he's like their only chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you see his character is kind of like Rogue too. I love the way Claremont developed Rogue,
because she was a villain. A lot of people don't know that.
And Wolverine didn't trust her when she joined the X-Men. None of them did. But then when the X-Men got kidnapped before Logan's wedding, he was the only one he could depend on, and she ended up saving his life at the end of it. And that's when he first started to trust her. And I digress, but I love that whole thing, But the thing about Miles too, I missed out on that. I saw Ultimate Fallout 4, and I said, Peter Parker's my only Spider-Man. I'm not going to get that. So, regrets. I have a few.
Yeah, Old Man Logan was just so damn good. So damn good. And to put villains that you wouldn't necessarily assume would be there at the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
There, I thought it was really well done. Very, very well done. And for him not to pop his claws after his bad night. And it was so good. But the last character I'm going to talk about is Wonder Woman. I've been quietly reading Wonder Woman for a very long time since Meredith and David Finch handled the character. And there's again a character I felt is slept on just because it's a woman, like a female character. But there's been so many damn good stories. It's almost a shame, kind of like Swamp Thing. It's almost a shame, and that's the one thing I would recommend for people in the last 5 years. If you see cheap trades that feature Wonder Woman in the last 5 years, from about issue 725 forward to today, where we have a new volume, if you can pick them up for cheap, $5 used at a con, do it. You'll never be disappointed. It's not necessarily love stories. It's not Wonder Woman in love with Steve Trevor or anything. She's just a badass character doing her thing, and she doesn't need the Trinity to help her. She is a fantastic character. And
I will love George Perez forever for resurrecting her like he did. I think he
sensational Wonder Woman. Yeah.
And then Brian Bowen worked on it. I'm pretty sure. Adam Hughes. Yep. There's been some great people, and I think she gets slept on. I agree. And and also, I was in love with Linda Carter when I was a kid.
Weren't we all?
Still am.
And she still is a beautiful woman.
Still a stunner. Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I was her and Lindsay Wagner. I had a thing for Lindsay Wagner too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love what
not of late, Chuck. Not of late.
No, I just love what this. I know I'm a big George Perez fan when I keep coming back to it, but like that character at that point was dead.
Yeah,
and he voluntarily is like, I want to draw Wonder Woman. Like nobody else wanted to do it, and he was like, I want to do it, and I'll always love him for that. May rest in peace. Wish I'd got to meet him, but I know I talk too much. We got Dark Gojira says Linda Carter is she's a lot of people's dream woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why. I'll give you 2 reasons. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. What do you collect anything else besides comic books?
Fine cigars.
Oh,
I am a brother of the leaf.
Bub's world is too.
I'm a big autograph fan. I collect autographs, and it's just not comic books. I collect autographs. Sports is probably my biggest one. The one that I've really tried to focus on in the last 15 years is full size autograph NFL helmets. I do enjoy trying to get political autographs. I'm proud to say that I own 2 different presidential autographs.
Awesome.
Multiple Canadian prime ministers. I do have an astronaut as well. And yeah, autographing is just my thing. It's been something I've started from a very young boy right on through. I had the pleasure of volunteering at a very large sports store in Toronto, and I basically worked with every
Rod.
hockey superstar you can think of, baseball as well. Yeah, I'm not going to debate these 2 beautiful women. That's apples
I'm
and
not either.
yeah, that's
Spy love me with all.
neither are wrong, and both debates don't need to happen. They're both yeah. That's just beautiful women. Yeah, but yeah, autographing is just my thing. It's I always try to be prepared. There are times there's been times I've been known to walk or drive around and I have a baseball in my glove box, just because if I meet someone famous, baseballs are a great thing to get autographed, even if it's not their sport, because what's the American pastime? Baseball. So, yeah.
He's not lying here. The only reason he watched Star Crash was it wasn't for David Hasselhoff. Yeah, there's only one reason to watch that movie. It's not for anything, not the plot. I know that.
Is there a plot?
Not really. If it's a Roger Corman movie, no, there probably isn't.
Yeah, it's see what we can produce on 10 grand. Yeah,
And I think I know the answer to this one because I think you have it in a holster next to your desk.
sure.
But what is your most prized comic book in your collection?
Oh, all right. This is the part where I get a lot of rolling eyes, but it's this one. It's the Amazing Spider-Man issue #1.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can take a look at your helmet or your shield. But yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man issue #1. It's a 2.0. It was a blue label when I originally purchased it, and decided to crack it that summer. And Stan Lee made his final appearance in Toronto in 2016. Fall of 2016.
He died.
Yep, and he tagged it. Thankfully, in a large autograph, even though I kind of wanted, I would have preferred maybe a trade dress. But going across Spider-Man, at least he signed a large one. And yeah, this is obviously it's my most valuable comic book, but it's the one I'm most proud of. That's all.
Yeah, and right, and well, you should be. If anybody, we got about 5 minutes until we only usually run about an hour. So if anybody has any questions they would like to ask the comic vet, please share with us now.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get any more questions out here. I've already went through all my James Lipton questions, so.
Again, that's a great reference. For those that don't know what he's talking about, you got to Google that. You'll see some of the best interviews of all time.
Google Inside the Actor Studio.
Yeah. Yes. Actors loved to be interviewed by him. And some of the questions he came up with, they were like, how do you know that? Yeah. Those are great moments. You too, Razor. Merry Christmas to you and your family, sir.
And I thought about doing the little questionnaire at the end. You know, how he would ask them, if you get to the pearly gates, what would you like to say to you, or stuff like that. Okay, here we got a question from Dr. Von Hoop.
Who's my favorite original art sketch cover? That is tough.
You got to try to pick your favorite child or something.
It would probably have to be the first Ken Lashley piece that I had commissioned from him. It's on a Superman Doomed blank cover where Lashley opened up the cover and he did both, and it's Doomsday throwing a punch at Superman and catching Superman on the side of the head. I don't know if I have it close by. Here, you guys want to look at my crotch when I stand up, but I'll see if I can just grab it. Do I have it close by? Of course not, because that would be too convenient. But this is what I'll show in its place instead. So it's not original art, but hey, I have a Todd McFarlane signed ASM in a custom label, even though it's a short form Todd McFarlane. But yeah, great question, DVH. But I don't have it close by. We have a question
from Son of
It's all getting boxed up. The cool thing is I have autographs from two presidents that are on opposite sides of the aisle. I have a signed book by George W. Bush, and I have a sweet spot signed baseball by the current president, Joe Biden. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Nerdy Geek saying, "I want to thank y'all for being so welcome." Hey, that's what it's all about, Nerdy Geek. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Flat Earth saying another knucklehead and into Ken Lashley.
Yes. Yeah. It's good dude.
Yeah.
This is absolutely true.
There you go.
There is one of the very early episodes of Slab Hub is dedicated to a bunch of original art that I have slabbed up. So if you visit Rob's Fat Sacks Old Comics, go back about 2.5, 3 years, you'll see that episode. It might be like episode 4 or episode 5.
All right.
Or maybe episode 8 or 9. Rob would correct me. I know more about what books have been shown versus what episodes they were shown in. But yeah.
And I, by the way, I love that show. It's my favorite show on Saturday to watch. Just throwing that out there. So everybody, please sub that up and hit the notification bell for that one. Now, before we go, I'm just going to ask you what you got going on your channel in the coming weeks. Before we go,
tomorrow I'll be dropping my new Comic Book Day haul. I'm rebranding that show, and I'm calling it "How Much Did I Spend?" And this Monday I'll be dropping a Walmart pack opening featuring a 7-pack of Marvel comic books. And first 13. Yeah. God, Rob, we were doing it for that long now. Damn. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you too, my man.
Merry Christmas.
But yeah, that's it. Tomorrow, my new Comic Book Day haul. Monday, it's a Walmart opening. It's a 7-pack of Marvel comic books. It might be the last Marvel pack that I ever find at Walmart, and they are beyond scarce. They're beyond scarce. They're just not made anymore. And next Wednesday will be Christmas. But normally every Wednesday, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It shows what you got live new comic day hangout, where it's an open invitation for anyone and everyone to come on and show the books they just picked up for new comic book day, or books that are brand new to their PC.
All right. Yeah. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to have my end. I'm not going to have a claim sale till next year again. And 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, I do the Sunday Super Show Extravaganza. We go over new comic book day, the hot trending 20 comics of the week, and we're gonna talk about the new Superman trailer, which should be dropping tomorrow. And next week, this show will not be on Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll be Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and my guest will be Mad Spidey, my friend from Land Down Under.
Nice.
So stay tuned for that. And Chris, I'll talk to you backstage. But we've come to the end of the show. I'd like to thank everybody for participating. I love this show because I get to know people that I've met on here a little bit better, and maybe you get to know me a little bit better. And I can spotlight somebody else's awesome YouTube channel. And this was a great episode. This might be the best episode I've had yet. But until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white girl.